Government business. Presentation of the 2026-27 budget statement by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization. The Minister to lay the documents at the table.
Honorable Minister of Finance, are you ready? Yeah. Let me...
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to present the papers standing on my name under item 3C2 of the order paper.
Thank you, Minister of Finance. Sergeant Adams. Honorable Minister of Finance, do you wish to speak to your budget statement?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, today and now.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the estimates on the revenue, recurrent and development accounts for the year 2026-2027 budget be referred to the Committee of the Whole House to be considered vote by vote and thereafter be approved and adopted. Mr. Speaker, sir, in compliance with the Public Finance Management Act of 2022, Section 33, Subsection 3, I am mandated as the Minister responsible for Finance to present before this August House a statement of estimated government revenues and expenditure. I would like, therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, to take this moment to express my sincere gratitude to our State President, His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for his unwavering commitment to embark on a journey of restoring country's macroeconomic stability and to rebuild the economy. Within the first 4 months of the Democratic Progressive Party administration, our President has demonstrated remarkable decisiveness and visionary leadership in protecting the most vulnerable Malawians. He has also instilled renewed confidence in our institutions and strengthened fiscal discipline. These seemingly difficult steps have set Malawi on a remarkable path towards economic recovery and prosperity. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank His Excellency, the State President, for entrusting me to continue carrying out this noble duty of being the Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization among many capable professionals in the country. It is with a sense of humility that I stand before you to present the 2026-2027 national budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that the formulation of this 2026-2027 budget has also been informed by input from the general public solicited during the national pre-budget consultations, which were conducted across the 3 regions of the country. I'm therefore particularly grateful to the participants drawn from the academia, youth groups, civil society, non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations, the private sector, professional bodies, development partners, parliamentary committees, and other interested groups. Their constructive engagement and valuable contribution remain a cornerstone of sound and inclusive public finance management. With this input, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is with great honor and privilege that I deliver the first budget since the DPP administration returned to power in October 2025. DPP came into government at a time when our economy was facing multiple challenges. When the DPP administration took over government, economic growth had stagnated, inflation was too high, foreign exchange reserves were below 2 weeks of import cover, while fiscal deficit and public debt were at unacceptable levels. This situation exerted a heavy burden on households, businesses, and government. It is for this reason that the government embarked on a number of interventions and reforms to restore macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to report that there are many positive signals, such as stable supply of fuel, reduced inflation and interest rates, including reduction in prices of selected commodities. It is against this background, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the 2026-2027 budget has been framed and formulated under the theme driving economic recovery and sustainable growth through impactful reforms and fiscal consolidation. This reflects our commitment to restore macroeconomic stability, rebuild confidence, and lay the foundation for inclusive and resilient growth. The 2026-2027 budget provides the fiscal content to this theme and creates an opportunity for the new administration to strategically articulate its policy direction and implement its commitments. I'm pleased to report that the budget I'm presenting before you, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is people-centered, it is pro-poor, it is developmental, as well as transformative. In view of this theme, Mr. Speaker, sir, our immediate priority is macroeconomic stabilization. Let me emphasize from the onset, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this administration is geared to pursue prudent fiscal policies aimed at reducing the budget deficit and consequently budget debt stock. As such, government will strengthen domestic revenue mobilization efforts, including broadening the tax base, enhancing compliance, and modernizing tax administration while protecting low-income households and productive sectors. On the expenditure side, Mr. Speaker, sir, government will continue to implement austerity measures to eliminate waste, reduce non-essential spending, and improve efficiency in public service delivery. Resources will be redirected towards high economic impact sectors that drive productivity, create jobs, promote and support growth. In the same vein, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to unveil the National Economic Recovery Plan, NEP, whose overarching objective is to restore macroeconomic stability and promote inclusive growth through investment in key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. This plan is aligned to the DPP manifesto and the Malawi 2063 First Year Implementation Plan, MIP1. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me now provide the context of the economic environment we are operating in at global, regional, and national levels. Thereafter, I will present the performance of the 2025 fiscal year and the progress made on the reforms and measures announced during the 2025-2026 mid-year budget. This will be followed by the macroeconomic assumptions, key overarching policy objectives, and the reforms that will anchor the revenue and expenditure estimates of the 2026-2027 budget. Lastly, I will present the public sector reforms that will support the upcoming budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me now turn to the world, regional, and national economic outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, you all appreciate that our economy does not operate in isolation, but it is driven by global and regional developments. Allow me, therefore, to present the global, regional, and domestic economic developments to this August House. World Economic Outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, the January 2026 World Economic Outlook, WEO, report by the International Monetary Fund states that the global economy is expected to remain steady amidst divergent forces. Economic growth is expected to remain steady at 3.3% in 2025 and 2026, declining marginally to 3.2% in 2027. On the other hand, global inflation is projected to continue its decline, with headline inflation falling from 4.1% in 2025 to 3.8% in 2026, and 3.4% in 2027. Regional economic outlook. Regional economic outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, economic growth in sub-Saharan region is projected to accelerate, rising from 4.4% in 2025 to 4.6% in 2026 and 2027. Their growth is expected to be driven by ongoing macroeconomic stabilization and the reform efforts in larger economies alongside investment to support growth. Across the sub-Saharan region, many countries are also undertaking fiscal consolidation measures to recover from aid withdrawals, reduction in official development assistance, ODA, and elevated public debt levels and constrained fiscal space. Domestic economic developments. Economic growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, the country's economic outlook remains positive, with growth projections maintained at the levels announced in the November 2025 mid-year budget statement. Real GDP growth is projected to increase from 2.7% in 2025 to 3.8% in 2026, and it will strengthen further to 4.9% in 2027. This growth will be supported by strategic investment in key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. And special focus will be put on increased production and value addition, export diversification, and import substitution. Inflation. Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation has remained elevated from 2021, largely due to food and foreign exchange supply constraints. The annual inflation has now declined from 32.3% in 2024 to 28.5% in 2025, and it has also reduced further to 24%. Moving forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation is...
Honourable members, let's
Moving
have
forward,
order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation is projected to take a downward trajectory to 15% by the end of 2026-2027 financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, this signals a gradual restoration of macroeconomic stability. Money supply. Money supply.
Honourable members.
Money supply. With regards to money supply, Mr. Speaker, sir, annual growth rate of broad money remains a concern as it stands at 44.9% in December 2025, and private sector credit growth exceeded 40% in 2025, as well as well above the 25% that was recorded in 2024. As highlighted above, Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation in 2025 remained elevated above the medium-term target, largely due to persistent supply-side constraints. Accordingly, the Reserve Bank of Malawi maintained a tight monetary policy stance to tame inflation. These measures, coupled with the importation of maize from Zambia, contributed to lower inflation outcomes in 2025 compared to 2024. Foreign exchange developments. Mr. Speaker, sir, the subdued economic growth in 2025 resulted in low exports, while imports increased sharply, thereby aggravating external sector imbalances. In 2025, the trade deficit was estimated at about $2 billion, reflecting import growth that continued to outpace export earnings. Looking ahead, Mr. Speaker, sir, the trade deficit is expected to narrow as productivity-enhancing initiatives to boost export capacity take shape, while simultaneously enhancing import substitution. It is worth noting, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Malawi kwacha depreciated against most major trading partner currencies in 2025 due to excess demand for foreign exchange and limited supply. The ongoing initiatives to enhance foreign exchange generation are expected to support the stability of the kwacha and also mitigate further depreciation pressures. Public debt. Mr. Speaker, sir, Malawi's growth path towards managing public debt is constrained by the current stock levels, which stand at 23.9 trillion. Which is 90.9% of GDP as of December 2025. Of this amount, Of this amount, 75% is domestic debt, translating to 16 trillion. The high level of debt is on account of the high level of debt is on account of legacy domestic borrowing. The debt stock remains worrisome and unsustainable, posing heightened risks to macroeconomic stability. You may wish to appreciate that this debt is exerting a lot of pressure on the country's fiscal space. Budget performance. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to briefly highlight the performance of the 2025-2026 budget.
Order. Honour members, we have guests in the gallery, we have diplomats. Can we show some maturity, please? Both sides. Order.
Revenue performance. Mr. Speaker, sir, revenue and grants for the 2025-2026 financial year are estimated at 5.528 trillion to the end of the year, compared to the mid-year revised projection of 5.461 trillion, translating to an overperformance of 1.2%. Domestic revenue is estimated at 4.545 trillion, against the mid-year revised figure of 4.478 trillion, thereby representing a 1.5% overperformance. This rebound, Mr. Speaker, sir, in revenue performance is attributed to the policy measures that were introduced during the mid-year budget review. Tax and non-tax revenue. To the end of the year, tax revenue is estimated at 4.392 trillion, compared to the mid-year revised estimate of 4.328 trillion, while non-tax revenue is estimated at 149.5 billion. However, the likely outturn for tax revenue during the period is estimated at 4.392 trillion, reflecting a slight overperformance of 1.5%, while non-tax revenue is estimated at 153.6 billion, representing an overperformance of 2.7%. For the fourth quarter of the financial year, tax revenue is projected at 1.214 trillion against a quarterly projection of 1.125 trillion, again translating to a 7.9% overperformance. This performance is attributed to the measures that I announced during the mid-year budget review, including the adjustment in value-added tax and the pay-as-you-earn. Grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, total revised provision for grants from foreign governments and international organizations in the 2025-2026 financial year is maintained at the mid-year revised figure of 983 billion. Total expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, total mid-year revised expenditure provision for the 2025-2026 financial year is estimated at 8.589 trillion and is expected to close at 8.431 trillion, representing an under expenditure, or I should say an improvement of 1.8% on account of implementation of expenditure control control measures. And this performance and the underperformance in the project implementation that was also introduced during the mid-year budget review. This expenditure comprises of 6.668 trillion in recurrent expenditure and 1.763 trillion is estimated to close at 1.691 trillion, and public debt payments at 2.328 trillion, and use of goods and services at 1.450 trillion, grants to other government units at 545.2 billion, social benefits at 607.7 billion, and other expenses at 45.7 billion. Fiscal deficit. Mr. Speaker, sir, the fiscal deficit for the 2025-2026 financial year is estimated at 2.903 trillion, which is a slight drop from the revised mid-year projection of 3.128 trillion, representing a 7.2% reduction in fiscal deficit. This drop, Mr. Speaker, sir, is as a result of the decrease in expenditure coupled with an increase in revenue. Progress on the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review reforms. Mr. Speaker, sir, I now wish to report that the reform measures announced during the mid-year budget review statement were not merely a policy pronouncement, but have been translated into concrete actions. Allow me to highlight some of the achievements made to date. Food situation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2025 National Food Balance Sheet revealed that the country's maize supply was estimated at 2.7 million metric tons, against a national requirement of 3.72 metric tons, resulting in a deficit of 1.02 million metric tons. Mr. Speaker, sir, as at February 2026, the strategic grain reserves stand at 81,576.75 metric tons, representing a nation's maize stocks held for food security and market stabilization purposes. To date, the government has successfully procured, or should say, delivered to NFRA about 58,029 metric tons out of the 103 tons that we have bought from Zambia, and this comprises 42,200 metric tons imported from Zambia and 15,829 metric tons sourced from local farmers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to report that the maize market has seen significant reduction in prices. Where a 50 kg bag is now selling between 38 and 48 from around 100,000. Thereby enhancing affordability and access to Malawians, even during the rain period, and this has averted the hunger situation in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to report to this August House that the promise that Kutamoyo, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika made to Malawians that no one should die of hunger and that no one should die of eating chiteze or nyika, has been achieved. Mr. Speaker, sir, our President delivers what he promises, and he promises what he can deliver. Farm Input Subsidy Program, FISIP. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government successfully increased the number of beneficiaries under Farm Input Subsidy Program from 528,000 to 1,100,000 households. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, sir, over 75% of the targeted beneficiaries under this year's FISIP have successfully redeemed their inputs, despite the delay in the start of the program following the September 2025 general election, compared to 45% same time last year. This signals a marked significant progress in the management of FISIP, pension arrears and gratuities. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has made substantial progress in reducing normal and deaf gratuities for retired and deceased civil servants, respectively, following an additional 196 billion approved in the 2025-2026 immediate budget. As a result, it is expected that by end of March 2026, about 11,000 retirees will receive their terminal benefit, representing approximately 92% from the NDA target of 12,000. This means, Mr. Speaker, sir, the waiting period for pensions and gratuities will be substantially reduced to 3 months from the previous average of 36 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, we all know that our pensioners were suffering. They were turned into beggars, but Professor Tabitha Mutharika made sure that we have to provide the resources so that they are paid in good time. Mr. Speaker, sir, now let me turn to free public primary and secondary school education. Mr. Speaker, sir, this administration of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has introduced free public primary and secondary school effective 1st January 2026. As a result of this transformative reform, parents and guardians are not paying general purpose, MANEB, and identity card fees in public primary schools. In addition, parents and guardians are not paying development fees, tuition fees, and MANEB fees in public secondary schools. This reform has significantly increased enrollment levels, and it is expected to reduce school dropouts rates, thereby increasing human capital development for the nation. Resuscitation of the automatic pricing mechanism, APM. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has resuscitated the use of automatic pricing mechanism for fuel to ensure cost-reflective fuel pump prices and reduce losses incurred by fuel importers and the Price Stabilization Fund. As a result, there is increased availability and accessibility of fuel in the country, and that there are no fuel queues, as has been the case the past few years. Revenue measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has commenced implementation of the revenue measures announced in the 2025-2026 immediate budget statement. I am pleased to report that the VAT adjustments, levy on transaction and pay are in full effect. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to clarify that withholding tax on rental income is not a new tax. It has long existed under the fourth schedule of the Taxation Act. As such, the mid-year budget announcement was just intended to strengthen enforcement by the Malawi Revenue Authority. I therefore call upon all Malawians to support this initiative as part of our efforts to restore the Malawian economy. Expenditure control measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, a number of expenditure control measures and reforms were introduced in the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review. This was done to reduce expenditure on travel-related budget lines and the fiscal deficit. I therefore would like to report that to the end of this fiscal year, expenditure is projected to go down by about 158 billion. Key achievements in the 2025-2026 fiscal year: agriculture, tourism, and mining. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the agriculture sector, government has registered significant progress in irrigation developments under the Shire Valley Transformation Project, including expansion of irrigation schemes covering 4,194 hectares. In addition, matching grants were provided to farmers' cooperatives under Agriculture Commercialization, Agricom, and the Malawi Watershed Services Improvement Project. In the tourism sector, Mr. Speaker, sir, government revised the 1968 Tourism Act and facilitated the establishment of the Malawi Tourism Authority. This was complemented by continued implementation of the National Tourism Investment Master Plan. The plan comprises of 103 projects focusing on strategic infrastructure developments across the country in order to boost the sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the mining sector, key achievements include the recommissioning of Kairekera uranium mine in Karonga under a new mining development agreement with Lotus Resources Limited. Government is also developing mining regulations to operationalize the raw mineral export ban, and targeted research was undertaken on agro-minerals, industrial minerals, and offshore oil and gas exploration in partnership with Press Trust Malawi and Africa Fortesa Limited. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the transport sector, government has strengthened connectivity by significantly progressing works on the M1 road between Lilongwe and Chiweta, with 155 kilometers surfaced and opened to traffic. In addition, government has also constructed 30 kilometers of the Lakeshore Road and has also completed key city roads to improve traffic flow and safety. Furthermore, government has also completed the rehabilitation of Nkaya Kanengo railway section, which has enabled resumption of the train services. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the energy sector, government has also significantly expanded electricity access across the country. Through Malawi Rural Electrification Program, MAREP, and the Malawi Electricity Access Project, MEP, over 186,000 households have been connected to power. In addition, a 60 kilowatt peak solar-powered mini-grid has been commissioned at Mwansambo in Ncheu district, further advancing inclusive and sustainable energy access. Mr. Speaker, sir, negotiation for financing of Mpatamanga hydro power project are at an advanced stage. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enhance local governance and ensure people-centered development, government has completed over 700 development projects under the World Bank-funded Governance to Enable Service Delivery Project, GESID, in key sectors such as health, education, and agriculture over the past few years. In addition, through government financing, the Choro District Council office has been completed, while works on Imberwa and Nzuzu civic offices are at an advanced stage. Further, 24 traditional authority houses have been completed, with 31 more currently under construction. The health sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite the reduction in donor funding for the health sector, government recruited 5,992 health workers and promoted 898 health workers. Out of these, 4,250 were recruited with support from the Global Fund, and 1,742 workers with support from government. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, government also completed the following projects in the health sector. 1, construction of radiotherapy bunkers at the National Cancer Center, and the completion of infectious disease unit at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the pediatric eye clinic at the Nzuzu Central Hospital, and the construction of Kwisa and the Chiponde health centers in Baraka and Lilongwe, respectively. Education. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has made notable progress in the education sector, including the completion of 2,150 classrooms and 321 sanitary blocks to improve learning conditions. Progress has also been registered in a number of projects in the public universities, including the construction of a 400 student capacity training facility for tourism and the hospitality management at Nzuzu University and the University of Malawi Administration Complex. Let me now move, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the 2026-2027 year budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to outline the macroeconomic assumption underlying the 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the following are the macroeconomic assumptions that have been used in formulating the 2026-2027 proposed national budget. The macroeconomic assumptions are as follows: fiscalized GDP growth rate of 4.1%, NDA inflation, NDA for the 2026-2027 at 15%, nominal GDP of 31.5 trillion, and a policy rate of 18%. From the Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm also on to report that our assumption for this budget on the policy rate is at 18% compared to the current 26%. Key policy objectives of the key policy objectives of the 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget estimates have been formulated on the basis of the following key policy objectives. 1, to reduce fiscal deficit from the 11.9% to about 9% of GDP, consequently reducing government borrowing and debt. This will be achieved by implementing revenue enhancement and expenditure control measures. 2, to create fiscal space through debt restructuring. 3, to prioritize allocation of resources to key productive sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. 4, to enhance export promotion and import substitution strategies so as to improve generation of foreign exchange and boosting the country's balance of payments position. 5, to undertake accelerated fiscal decentralization by providing significant resources to local councils through the reformed Constituency Development Fund. And lastly, number 6, to strengthen fiscal discipline through performance-based disbursement of resources for projects and all key government programs. Total revenue and grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total revenue and grants are expected at 8.126 trillion, which is 25.8% of GDP. And this represents an increase of revenue of 48.8% from the 2025-26 revised figure of 5.461 trillion. And the domestic revenue is projected at 6.454 trillion, which is 20.5% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, sir, this represents an increase of 44.1% from the 2021 and 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 4.478. This is on account of revenue enhancement measures coupled with automation of non-tax revenues and the revision of user fees and charges. Mr. Speaker, sir, tax revenue is also estimated at 6.203 trillion, which is 19.7% of GDP, representing an increase of 43.3% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 4.328 trillion. This growth is largely on account of revenue enhancement measures introduced at the mid-year. Specifically, growth is expected mainly in the taxes on income and profits, taxation on goods and services, and taxes on international trade. Non-tax revenue is also projected at 250.5 billion, representing an increase of 67.6% from the mid-year revised figure of 149.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is on account of review of user fees and charges, automation, and the expected increase in dividend and surpluses. Mr. Speaker, sir, grants from international organizations and foreign governments are projected at 1.672 trillion, representing an increase of 70.1% from the current 2025-2026 revised figure of 983 billion. This increase is mainly on account of projected disbursements from the international organizations. Total expenditure for the year 2026-2027. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 total expenditure is estimated at 10.978 trillion, which is 34% of GDP, representing an increase of 27.8% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 8.589 trillion. This increase, Mr. Speaker, sir, emanates from the legacy commitment of the previous regime, statutory expenditures and development expenditures. This notwithstanding, the expected deficit in GDP ratio will improve to 9% from the 11% in the 2025-2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, total expenditure comprises of 7.581 trillion recurrent expenditure, and 3.397 trillion development expenditure, representing 69.1% and 30.9% respectively. Within the recurrent expenditure, total statutory expenditure consisting of wages and salaries, public debt, interest, pensions and gratuities, and other statutory expenses is projected at 5.092 trillion. And this represents 78.9% of domestic revenues, which is a drop from 97.5% in 2025-2026 financial year. Key highlights for the 2026-2027 budget. Wages and salaries. Mr. Speaker, sir, wages and salaries are projected to increase to 1.923 trillion from the 2025 mid-year revised figure of 1.631 trillion, translating to an increase of 288 billion. This increase, Mr. Speaker, sir, has taken into account the current personnel on the ground, salary adjustments, and prioritized recruitments in key sectors like education and health. Pensions and gratuities. Mr. Speaker, sir, pensions and gratuities have been allocated 296 billion in the 2026-2027 budget. This provision will ensure that pensioners are paid timely on a monthly basis, and the backlog of payments for gratuities continues to drastically reduce. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is, as I've said earlier, this government is targeting to reducing the waiting period for receiving gratuities to at least 3 months. Public debt interest. Mr. Speaker, sir, public debt interest is projected at 2.793 trillion, representing an increase of 22.9% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 2.272 trillion, largely on account of past commitments. And with the ongoing external and domestic debt restructuring, government expects further reduction in the public interest payments. Use of goods and services, ORT. Mr. Speaker, sir, use of goods and services is projected at 1.503 trillion, representing a reduction of 0.3% from 2025-2026 mid-year revised provision of 1.50 trillion. This is mainly on account of one-off expenditure on tripartite elections, logistics for the procurement of maize from Zambia, and reallocation of irrigation and development resources from other recurrent transactions to the development budget. Grants to other general government units. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total allocation for grants to other general government units stands at 8.67.8 billion, representing an increase of 59.9% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised provision of 542.8 billion. This increase is mainly on account of the resumption of the road levy remittances to Road Fund Administration, transfers to Malawi Revenue Authority based on upward adjustment of revenue projection, and transfers to subvented organizations, including public universities. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the allocations within subvented organizations is 4 billion under the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Corporation for the expansion of local production of uniforms for security institutions such as boots to reduce demand for foreign exchange. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is worth noting that other strategic allocations under the subvented organization are as follows: 2 billion for the Youth Innovation Fund under the National Youth Council of Malawi, the 1.1 billion for assembling laptops and tablets under the Malawi University of Science and Technology, and 3 billion for the agriculture machinery production under the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences. Now let me turn to key allocations and development projects. Allocation to agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing, the 4 key sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, government continues to prioritize these key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing because of their potential to stimulate socio-economic growth and the development of the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget has allocated a total of 1.334 trillion towards these key sectors, representing 12.2% of the total budget. Agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, resources amounting to 931.1 billion have been allocated to this sector in the 2026-2027 budget. Of this amount, 111.45 billion is earmarked for fertilizer input subsidy program for the 2026-2027 growing season. In order to reduce the price of seed, Mr. Speaker, sir, and also to save foreign exchange and increase availability, 11.3 billion has been allocated for maize seed to be produced and purchased locally. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the intention of government to ensure that the strategic grain reserves are replenished to the full capacity to achieve national food self-sufficiency. In this regard, 60 billion has been allocated in the 2026-27 budget for maize purchases. This allocation is over and above the 103,000 metric tons that has been bought from Zambia. In addition, resources amounting to 60 billion will also be allocated to ADIMAC for the purchase of commercial maize and other crops. Furthermore, an allocation of 26.7 billion has also been provided for the contract farming activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, to reduce the country's overdependence on rain-fed agriculture, resources amounting to 40 billion have been allocated for the National Irrigation Development Program. This is complementary to other initiatives, including the Shire Valley Transformation Project and Program for Rural Irrigation Development, with allocations of 241.1 billion and 3 billion